Today I don't need the board. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sanjara, and I'll be handling the second year English intermediate. And before we start, I would like to state certain instructions for you to follow. Second year English paper is very lengthy, so you have to be very fast in completing the work so that it enables you to revise your paper before you hand it over to the invigilator. So in this regard, I'll give you a certain tips how to go about writing and make your work very easy for the examiner. Yes. It would make you easy if you write very systematically and very clearly. Remember one thing, a well presented paper with neat handwriting fetches you more marks than an not a systematic, illegible, badly written work. So please, children, however fast you write, please see that your handwriting is neat and clear. Secondly, that I would want to tell you is they are presented paper with neat writing fetches you more marks than not a systematic, illegible, badly written work. So please, children, however fast you write, please see that your handwriting is neat and clear. Secondly, that I would want to tell you is there are 5 lessons in prose, 5 lessons in poetry, and 5 in non-detail. You don't have to learn all the annotations and question and answers from prose, poetry, the non-detail. You can easily skip one of each of them. One lesson from prose, one from poetry, and one from non-detail. 4 lessons which you prepare. 5 lessons in poetry and 5 in non-detail. You don't have to learn all the annotations and question and answers from prose, poetry, non-detail. You can easily skip one of each of them. One lesson from prose, one from poetry, and one from non-detail. 4 lessons which you prepare. 4 lessons of from prose, poetry, and non-detail are enough. And from each lesson, if you prepare one answer, that is more than enough. Usually the theme around the prose, poetry, or non-detail, either they are 1 or maximum 2 themes.
So whichever question comes, you can. This is
From prose, poetry, and non-fiction have been up. And from each lesson, if you prepare one answer, that is more than enough. Usually the theme around the prose, poetry, or non-fiction, either they are one or maximum two things. So whichever question comes,
you can write from any one of them. Like, for example, we are doing the first lesson is farewell, goodbye party to Miss. What was the lesson? Goodbye party to Miss Pushpa T.S.
the first lesson is farewell, goodbye party to Miss. Was the lesson.
Should I stop? In this lesson, Goodbye Party to Miss Pushpa, it deals about the colleagues of Miss Pushpa, give her, bid her farewell and hold a party before she goes abroad. And the whole poem deals with the speech given by one of her colleagues where he talks about the goodness of Miss Pushpa. Though she belongs to a renowned family, her father being a well-known advocate from a well-to-do family, she is very simple, always smiling and ready to help her colleagues. Even though she is busy, she doesn't mind helping her friends. And that's the reason her colleagues love her. They praise her, not only her outward appearance, but also her internal goodness. So the gist revolves around the farewell party given by her colleagues before she leaves for abroad. And if you know the theme of this poem, it's very easy for you to attempt whether it is an annotation or a question and answer. In annotations, you just have to write the subheadings. The first is reference. Reference deals with from which lesson and the poet is mentioned. The context or the explanation deals with the sentence given or the theme of the poem which I have just told you. And general relevance, conclusion, critical comment, any one of the side heading just sums up the whole thing. So when it is an annotation, you have to write 3 subheadings. That is reference, context or explanation, and the last is general relevance, conclusion, or critical comment. If it comes in the form of a question, you just need to write in a paragraph. That's it, children. So don't waste your time learning all the 4 annotations and 4 question and answers. At present, the books available, the material at the end gives you single annotation or a single question and answer. Just learn that. See that your work is appropriate. 4 marks is equivalent to 1 big paragraph, almost 3/4 to 1 page. Beyond that, it is just repetitive and you tend to make lot of mistakes. So please see the quality counts, not the quantity. 4 marks is 1 page, maximum 1¼ page. So don't spend time wasting writing lengthy answers because, as you know, Your paper is more of a descriptive kind, where you have lots and lots of written work. It's not objective like in the juniors, where 60% of your paper was objective. Here it is more of a descriptive kind. So children, try and write brief answers. Quantity doesn't count. It's the quality that counts. Now, going on to the next lesson, the grasshopper and the cricket. Here it deals with the nature. Here, John Keats talk about the never ceasing music of nature. During the summer, you must have noticed the grasshopper hops from hedge to hedge, singing the glory of nature. Birds do sing, but in the heat of the sun, they take rest while the grasshopper continues singing and making lively sound, keeping everyone happy. But in the winter time, when it is completely covered with snow, it's a white world, a dead world where nothing moves around. Even then, you find the nature's song continuing. It's the insignificant creature, the cricket, who makes a shrill sound sitting under the warm stone and singing, making a shrill sounds, keeping the people, when they hear the sound of the cricket, they feel it's like the grasshopper who sings during the summer and brings warmth into their hearts. So this is what the whole thing contains. This is a poem by John Keats, where he says the music of the nature never ceases. It is continuous. In summer, the grasshopper keeps everything lively, and in the winter, in the dead world, it is the small, insignificant creature, the cricket, who makes a shrill sound and makes the people warm, brings warmth into their hearts. So this is how you write the annotation, children. If it's annotation, you just write with subheadings. If it's a paragraph question, just write in a paragraph. Do not bother to write the details, the subheadings and everything, but it is always better if you mention the name of the poem or lesson and the author and the poet. This is very, very important. Now coming to the next poem, that is the Hiroshima Child, written by Nazim Hikmat. Here he talks about a 7-year-old dead child. You must have heard about the bomb which was dropped into Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where the whole of Japan was destroyed with the first bombs which were dropped during the World War II. Here the poet talks about a dead child. Why does he talk about a 7-year-old dead child? He wants the readers to sympathize of the unwanted violence, cruelty in this world. Through this child, he wants the people to understand that peace is needed every way. We don't want war. war brings about lot of destruction. There is nothing, not only the people who die, but everything is destroyed. So here this girl appeals for peace. She goes knocking on the door, but no one sees her or even able to hear her because she is not seen. She is dead. In her own way, she wants to appeal to. She doesn't crave, when she knocks on the door, it's not craving for something. She has lost her childhood and she wants other children to enjoy their childhood, to have fun and frolic, to eat whatever they desire, to grow, laugh, play. And because she could not enjoy her childhood, she wanted the pet for the other children. And that's the reason why she had, she goes around knocking on the doors and appealing to the people. I hope all of y'all are able to understand the three poems that I have explained. First one was the farewell party given to Miss Pushpa. Here her colleagues have arranged a farewell party and one of her senior colleagues goes around telling the goodness of Miss Pushpa. She belongs to a good family, but even though her father is a renowned lawyer, she is well-to-do, she never says no to any favor asked from her. She always goes out of the way to help others. And in this way, her colleague describes her, not only her outward appearance, but her inward generosity, simplicity, and the cheerfulness, a smile on her face at all times. And the second was the cricket and the grasshopper. These two are very insignificant creatures, but John Keats would like to tell us how these insignificant creatures bring life to nature. During the summer, when the birds get tired of the hot sun and rest under the pleasant trees, the grasshopper jumps around from hedge to hedge, singing away, bringing warmth into the hearts of the people who are exhausted with the hot sun falling on them. Likewise, the cricket and another insignificant creature brings about warmth in the dead world, the world which is covered with snow. Nothing moves, and everyone are filled with cold, and he brings warmth into their heart by singing shrilly from under the stove. And the third poem, the Hiroshima Child, it describes about a 7-year-old dead child who goes around knocking on the doors. She knocks not to plead for food or any luxury items, but she hopes to bring about peace. She did not have a good childhood, but she hopes that other children can laugh, play, and grow, which she couldn't. She is still 7-year-old, though she has died long time back, because once you die, you do not grow and neither do you eat. But her hope is to a plea for peace. The fourth poem is Awake. Here, Sarojini Naidu talks about India, how in olden times the people the women were not mm, the present generation, you hear the subjugation of the women. Uh, they in ancient times, in the 18th and the early 19th century, the women played a very dominant role. They were leaders in several aspects. But with the coming of the Parda system, women were not allowed to work or come out into the forefront. Later on, with Gandhiji's non-cooperation movement, women came out and they started taking, they were at the forefront, taking a vital role in the non-cooperation movement, whether it was boycotting the English goods or the liquor shops, putting a ban on the liquor shops. We found women coming every way. So Sarojini Naidu talks about it, explaining how earlier in the 18th, 19th century, women played a dominant role. Now the present, after the non-violent movement with the help of Gandhiji, again we find women taking part in the major role in coming forward and taking the world ahead. You hear of women taking part, you find there are women pilots, women bus drivers, conductors, everywhere. Plus political leaders. You find there are so many political leaders. And Sarojini Naidu herself was the first governor of independent India. So here she asked the women to take part in in an active way. Regarding the fifth lesson, fear, we always fear the unknown. If you have seen a small child, a child comes forward to do anything. Take, for example, a car. You buy a car for the child, and the next moment you see all the parts have been removed. Why? Because the child is filled with curiosity. It wants to see how it runs, how it can be fixed back. And even when he can't do, he still has the satisfaction. But as adults, we do have a lot of fear. We do not, anything unexpected, we are scared to take a leap forward. So here the poet talks about how to risk. If we don't take risk, you can never progress. We always have that feeling that we will not succeed. But unless you try, how do you know that you are going to succeed or fail? So this fear is always there in man. And unless we progress forward, we will find that we will not succeed in life. So, so far I've explained the theme of the 5 lessons. I hope all the students have understood. From tomorrow, I would take up the grammar part, the formal letter, and I shall explain to you how to go about writing a formal letter. In the meantime, any queries? Should I ask any questions? Continue. Okay, then shall I go on to the prose lesson? The first lesson of your prose is how to avoid foolish opinions. Here, everyone feels whatever they say is true. And that's the reason why when anyone contradicts us, we get very angry. And he suggests that it's always better to listen rather than to come out with saying something which is foolish. Like, for example, Aristotle, without examining, without thinking, he had given a wrong answer, saying that men have more teeth than the women. All he had to do was to check this fact with his wife, and he would have succeeded in not giving a wrong answer. But having said that women have less teeth, he gave out his foolish opinion. And in this way, we sometimes think that we know all the facts, but this doesn't prove that we actually know. So it is always better to mingle with people, to listen to their suggestions. When you have a group discussion, each one comes up with their own opinions. Just like the five fingers are not the same, no two persons have the same opinion. That doesn't mean the other person who's speaking out his opinion is completely wrong and what you think is completely right. So in this way, the author tries to explain that the more you mingle, the more you go around the world, you interact with people, you get to have a clear idea about what other people think, how the other people live, the ways which we live. We feel it's very comfortable, and when we go abroad, mingle with other people, we tend to have feel that what they follow, their culture, their tradition is different and not comfortable. But always remember, when we mingle with other people, it's only then that we get to have a right idea about other people's opinion, the way they live, the way they speak, the way they dress, their culture, traditions, all are explained to us. And that's when we get to know the other side of other people. The next lesson in prose happens to be the solution to plastic pollution. Everyone knows with the increasing pollution, there is a lot of problems. We hear about the increase in the population, which is bringing about because there is lot of demand, there is an increase in the pollution, whether it is cutting down of trees, the more the vehicles, sound, all this is leading to the depletion of ozone air. And with the sun burning down, the glaciers are melting, and with the glaciers melting, there is an increase in the water level. And this one day, as it is, the world is covered 75% with water. With the glaciers melting, there will be an increase in the water level, and we find that there is depletion in the soil. So, Mr. One professor of Chennai has come up with a solution to this. He accidentally heard a TV report where the person happened to say that there was that plastic melts in water. But when he heard this wrong declaration, his mind started working, and he knew that plastic only burns. It with the burning of the plastics, there is no toxic substance that goes into the air. So he came up with an idea of laying plastic roads. Bitumen is very expensive, and each kilometer we need 10 tons of bitumen, which is each bitumen costs around 50,000. So with the laying of the plastic road, we can reduce 1 ton of bitumen. That is 9 tons of bitumen and 1 ton of plastics. So we can help the government by sorting out the garbage, the plastics, the everything is in this. The plastics are melted, and when this plastic roads are plastics are mixed with the bitumen, it does not release any toxics into the air, and there are many benefits by it. One thing, we are saving lot of money. The roads can take up heavy loads, and more than that, it is a smooth road with no potholes and can last up to 60 years of, it has a lifespan of 60 years. And that's the reason when he came up with this suggestion, there were a lot of discussion and no one came forward to accept it. But once Dr. Abdul Kalam had come forward, and he suggested that why not try it in his own college grounds. So with the help of the correspondent, he had laid the first 16-meter long plastic road in the campus, which turned out very well. And then he started, though the government, he tried to bring out the patent and everything, the government did not cooperate with him. It was a very slow process. In the meantime, he started getting foreign and private enterprises started asking him for the patent. They wanted him to sell it, but he decided that it was better if he being an Indian, sell it to the Indian government rather than to the foreigners. And that's the reason why he gave his patent to the Indian government free of cost. But the process was very slow. It took a long time. And now many the roads in Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, I've already said, Bangalore, and even in Hyderabad, we find large patches of plastic roads being put. And in this way, we are not only making use of the plastics, which have caused a lot of problem to us, being one of the causes for the pollution, and this has put an end to it. So let's hope the government takes a serious view of this, and soon we will have plastic roads everywhere. This can be very convenient for us for the simple reason that it has many benefits. We can be saving 1 ton of bitumen for every kilometer laid, and also there would be it long span. It lasts for 60 years, and then we have also the sorry the other benefits are it can take up any load. Heavy loads also can travel on these plastic roads. So, having said all this, tomorrow I will be taking up grammar. So children, be ready with your books and note it down. But one thing I would want to tell you children, practice makes a man perfect. It's not just listening to it. It's always better when the lecture has been completed, you practice it. Now, I have given you the synopsis of the poems and 2 of the lessons of prose. I want you to practice the single answer or annotation from all these lessons taught, so that when grammar is taught, you can practice on the grammar. So before we end the session, any of you want to ask any questions? If you have any query, please come up with it so that I can answer if you have any doubts regarding this. Question. I can't take up another lesson and no questioning. Okay, then we shall continue tomorrow. Like I said, I'll be taking grammar tomorrow, letter writing, formal letter, informal letter, and covering letter. Let's hope we can cover all 3 tomorrow, because informal and cover letter, there are only few differences from the formal letter. The formal letter is the main, which once you listen to that concept, it's very easy for you to understand the informal and the cover letter. So with this, I end my session. Thank you. Have a good day.